Hello guys, MiniMiner here. Today I'm giving you guys my quick predictions for the iPhone 8. So yes guys, shortly after this video is posted, Apple will have released the new iPhone 8. It won't be available to buy yet, but the September event will showcase all of the new products, not just the iPhone, that will be coming out very shortly. I know this video is a bit late, but I'm going to be giving you guys my predictions for the iPhone 8. And I'm going to say that these are not actual findings, they're not actual proof, they're not leaks. They're just, well, some of them are leaks, but some of them mostly on my opinion, really, of what is going to be happening with the iPhone 8. So I'm going to see how well I did after the iPhone 8 has come out, so I can see what I got right, what I got wrong, and what could be on the future iPhones to come. So let's just kick it off. By no means am I an expert, I'm just interested in Apple, and I know it's a bit late. I know this video will probably be going about 5 o'clock UK time, and the event is 6, so just to let you guys know that this is going to be going out just before the event, so hopefully you guys are there. It's going to be at 6 o'clock UK time. So let's just get straight into the predictions. First of all, I believe there's going to be 3 models of the new iPhone that is going to be released. I think there's going to be an iPhone 8, an iPhone 8 Plus, and an iPhone 8X. Now these have actually been leaked. These are not actual my thoughts. I would have thought there would only been maybe 1, maybe 2 iPhones released. I didn't think there'd be an 8X. 8X is a real improvement, a real surprise actually, from what they usually do, because they usually release, well, they released 2 iPhones at the 5C and 5S. They released 2 with the 6 and 6 Plus. They released 2 with the 6S and 6S Plus, and obviously 2 with the 7 and 7 Plus. So it's very interesting to see them bring out 3 phones, if that does actually happen. Now I've split them up into 3 or 2 categories really. The 8X, which is obviously 10th anniversary iPhone, and the other category is the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, which are hopefully going to stay largely the same. Well, improve on some things, but not change too fundamentally as they were with the 7, because obviously the 8X will be the main new product that Apple are going to be releasing. So obviously, as you can tell, this video is a bit quick, so I'm going to let you guys know of the new predictions. So firstly, the 8X, I'm going to go through the 8X, what I think is going to be on the 8X, and then finally I'm going to go through what I think is going to be on and not on all the devices. So firstly, the 8X will be sized between the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. Now I believe the iPhone 8, or the iPhone 7 in fact, will had a 4.7-inch screen, and I'm not sure the 8 Plus, I think it must have been 5 point something inch screen, so it was it was a pretty wide gap between the 2 phones. I think they're going to bridge that gap with the 8X. I think the 8X is going to be in a middle size. I mean, the iPhone 7 at the moment, that's what I've got, the normal size one, is probably perfect for me, but I can see why people will want a little bit bigger, but not as extreme as the 8 Plus. So I think there's going to be 3 phones, iPhone 8X, iPhone 8, and iPhone 8 Plus, but I think the 8X is going to be sized between the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. This is mainly because of my opinion in the first place. However, it's been backed up by a few leaks, a few photos. If I can get some, I will put them in right now. Obviously, I don't have much time to edit this, because I will need to about 10-15 minutes to edit this and then get it up for you guys. So I'm actually recording this on the day of it going up as well, so which is not something I usually do. Obviously we'll have the normal video resume tomorrow. Now the next prediction for the iPhone 8X, I think is going to be a curved OLED screen. Now a lot of this has been going around with the release invitation, the actual event invitation. They've included a little Easter egg, or a little leak maybe, that there could be an OLED display on the 8X. I don't think this is going to be on the 8 and 8 Plus. It could well be, but I think there's going to be a curved OLED display, very much like what we see on the Samsung Galaxy, the S8 Edge, is it? S8 Edge or S7 Edge? That sort of style, but I think from looking at the photos, it looking like the screen is going to go all the way up to the edges, so the battery life indicator will all actually be on the screen right at the top of the edge, so it'll all flow around the phone rather than being screen and back. I think it'll be a lot more sort of streamlined between the two. So obviously we had that in sort of style with the jet black iPhone 7 and 7 Plus, but it never really gave that sort of feeling of completeness and just being surrounded by the screen. And I think that would really make the iPhone pop, is the curved OLED display. I also think this display will be 4K. I know it's been quite hinted for a while, since this, probably the 6S, that there would be a 4K display on the iPhones. Whether it's going to happen or not, probably not. I think it's probably one of the ones on here that is very unlikely to happen. I mean, the iPhone 7 didn't have a 4K display, and they could well have put a 4K display on there, but they chose not to. So the iPhone 8, is it going to have one? I don't think it is, personally. However, some people will say that it will have a 4K display. I don't think it will, but that is something that could happen, is a 4K display on the iPhone 8, which would be very interesting indeed. I don't think this will be on the 8 and 8 Plus. On the 8X, I should say, I think it will have a 4K screen. I think the 8 and 8 Plus will stay the same, largely, with the displays. Now on the 8X, I also think there will be facial recognition and wireless charging. This is based off, well, the first one, facial recognition, is based off of some reports from the Golden Master Edition of iOS 11, or something like that, and they've actually leaked that facial recognition will be coming to the iPhone 8 or 8X. I think, is it going to be on the 8 and 8 Plus? I don't think so. I think it's going to be purely for the 8X, because I think they're going to actually end up removing the home button on the 8X. I think it's going to stay on the 8 and 8 Plus, but it's going to be removed on the 8X in favor of facial recognition. I also think wireless charging is now long overdue for iPhones. I think it's something that would definitely benefit a lot of people, because a lot of people use their iPhones at their desks. They can just chuck it down, it charges automatically, no need to look for a cable. I do think this is a feature that needs to be on an iPhone, and it's probably long overdue, ever since probably the iPhone 6S. I always thought that would be have wireless charging, and I also thought the iPhone 7 would have wireless charging, but it was not to be. Next prediction is the 8, and this is something that I'm not looking forward to. The 8X, I think, will stand, also based on other reports, will start at £1,000 for the, or £999 for the 8X, the base model. I'll get onto storage options in a second, but I think it will start at £999. There have been reports that the 8 will start at £999 and the 8 Plus will start at £100 more than that. However, I think the 8X will start at £999 and the 8 Plus will stay the same as the 7, maybe a little bit more. I mean, the 7 started at 600 for the 32 gigabyte. 7, it might go to 650. You know, Brexit, so nobody really knows what's going to happen with the pricing. Really, it's just predictions. I think the iPhone 8X is going to start at £1,000 and possibly go up to, what's that, £1,200, which is pretty damn ridiculous, or maybe even higher. Now the next one is also another option that could happen. I think it's definitely an option. I don't know whether I'd end up getting it, but 512 gigabytes option on the 8X. Now I don't see why anyone would need 512 gigabytes. I have 128 gigabytes and it's probably perfect. I was the same when the iPhone 7 came out with 256. I didn't think that was even possible to fill up that much, but apparently so, and I think the iPhone 8X, following in the same sort of fashion, will upgrade to 512 gigabyte max. I think they'll probably start the 8X at 128 gigabytes, then go to 256 gigabytes and 512 gigabytes. I think the 128 gigabyte model will start at £999, 256 £1,099, and the 512 gigabyte £1,199. That is ridiculous for a device, but people will buy them, and I think with all these new features, if they do include, even if they include probably 3/4 of them, I think people will still definitely invest in one of these 8Xs. Now, I've gone over the no Touch ID on the iPhone 8X. There's not going to be a Touch ID, I don't think, because of that curved OLED display. Now, I also think that the iPhone 8X will have 4K 60 FPS recording. The reason why I say this is because there was actually a leak from, I think it was the Gold Master Edition again of the iPhone 8, which was that the camera could record at 4K at 60 FPS, and I think it's 1080p at 200 240 FPS, I believe it was. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it was 240 FPS in 1080p. Obviously, that was for slow motion. Now, 4K at 60 FPS, I think, will be exclusive to the iPhone 8X, because I do believe they need to make this a real standout from the 8 and 8 Plus. I don't think they're going to sort of make the iPhone 8X absolutely superior on the inside with the specs. However, apart from the storage, although I think they will add a lot of new features, such as wireless charging, facial recognition, 4K at 60 FPS. And other features I'm about to talk about. So I think 4K at 60 FPS would be a very, very nice addition to the iPhone 8X. I think it really would make it stand out from other phones on the market, and also the 8 and 8 Plus. So to bridge that gap between the two, because obviously if the 8 and 8 Plus had all the features of the 8X, what's the point in spending the extra £300-400? Next prediction for me is that there will be augmented reality on the 8X. This is one that has been sort of thrown around a bit. They showed it actually at the WWDC, I think it's called, where they showed, I think it was an iPad, where they showed that had augmented reality. I think that will definitely be a feature on the 8X, possibly on the 8 and 8 Plus. I haven't got it written down here, but just thinking about it now, could be part of the 8 and 8 Plus as well. So 8X could have the augmented reality. Next one is the 8X will have, or I say will have, could have 3D and VR photo support. Whether this be included on video as well. I mean, 3D photos, what I mean by that is utilizing the dual camera to create I mean, it obviously has the portrait mode, but maybe make it a little bit, pop a little bit more. I'm not sure how they would do that, but some sort of 3D mode where it would sort of really pull the subject out. I don't know how they would do that, and I don't know how if they have, I don't know how they would be able to do that, but it could be an option. And VR photo support, VR video is not an option, because obviously you've got to be constantly recording, but I know there's plenty of iPhone apps out there, but it's never going to be as smooth as the native Apple programs. So I think they will have a 3D VR photo support sort of thing. So you take a photo like what you used to do on the panorama, but less in one straight line and going up and down. You just sort of capture the whole scene, and you'll be able to view it in VR really as a photo. They obviously couldn't do video because they need to have a dual camera on the top of the device, and it would make things a bit too complicated. So VR photo support definitely would be a great addition to the iPhone 8X. Now, colouring wise, these are also ones I don't think will happen as much as some of the others on here. Just like the what was the other thing I said that wouldn't happen? The 512 gigabytes. I mean, you never know. But dark blue, green, and red options, sort of like a dark green, a dark red, like a I don't know what you call that, like a maroon or something like that, or burgundy sort of color. Maybe some people would want that. It depends on what they think people would want. Dark blue, green, and red, not my cup of tea really in terms of phone colors. I'm purely a black phone person. I mean, I have had white phones in the past, but I think I'm sticking with black devices from now on. I think dark blue, green, and red would be good. However, is it really going to happen? I don't think so. Now, another option which I think will happen is 8X's fast charging. The 8X could have some fast charging capabilities, which means that they will charge a lot faster than some of the other devices. I know we have some Samsung phones and stuff like that who already have fast charging, and that really could add a new dimension to the iPhone. It could make it charge a lot quicker. Obviously, they got to have cables and stuff to support it. I don't know what the deal with Lightning. Whether that would be able to support it or not, but that would be a definite good addition, because obviously the faster you can charge, the faster you can get it off, charge, and get on with your day. Finally, for the 8X, I believe there will be free AirPods with the 8X. Is this going to happen once again with the 8X? Possibly. I mean, it would really justify, it still wouldn't completely justify, but it would make it a little bit more of a better deal for £1,000 when you get from free AirPods. Whether that would happen, they don't often do things like that. I mean, they gave away from some Beats headphones with the purchase of a Mac, I think it was, if you're a student or something like that. So I think they could This is another one like the 4K screen and the blue, green and red. I think it could happen. Free AirPods with the 8X, it's something they might do to entice you to buy that 8X even more, because it's not going to cost them much to make the AirPods. Maybe £50 to make them. They sell them for 170. So, and we could also be seeing some AirPods version 2s come out, so we could actually get them bundled in with the 8X. Now, that is all of my predictions for the 8X. If you have any others, then be sure to let me know. But let's just go on to quickly onto some 8 and 8 Plus predictions. Very similar. I think the 8 and 8 Plus is going to be very similar to the 7. I think the design is going to be very similar. I think they're going to stick to what they know is going to sell, but also add that 8X crazy option that will obviously cost a lot more, but maybe won't get as many sales because of the extra £400. So yeah, you're looking at a full screen, no curvature on the iPhone 8. I don't believe there's going to be an OLED screen. I don't believe there's going to be a 4K screen. I just believe it's going to be a standard screen as they normally would. Is it going to curve? Probably not. Is it going to be full length? Maybe up to the top. I don't think they're going to remove the home button though on the 8 and 8 Plus. I mean, it could happen. They could remove the home button and use Face ID on the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. It's not to say that they won't, but I don't think they will. I think they'll keep the home button on the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus because it is a big part of using an Apple device, and maybe software doesn't quite beat hardware in this situation, because it is a very satisfying thing to do. I mean, you do it every day. I mean, I'm just doing it now, and it just gets you to the home screen straight away. There's no software messing about. There's no crashing. It just gets you there. So I think they will need to keep that, just to have that phone there as their sort of cash cow, just to keep them running. I know they've got enough money, but they need to keep the interest in the phone as well. There's only a few for the 8 and 8 Plus. I believe the 8 and 8 Plus will have the same pricing as the iPhone 7. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that before. I think they'll start at £600, maybe a little bit more, as I said, £600, and increase as you would. Obviously, the storage options I don't think will happen as much as the 8X. I don't think they'll have as much storage. However, I do think that 32 gigabytes will be upgraded to 64 base. So I believe you'll be getting 64 gigabytes, 128 gigabytes, and 256 gigabytes. I don't think they're going to change the 128 or the 256. I think it's going to be 64 base for £600 for the iPhone 8. Maybe 650, maybe 700. I don't know. But I think it'd be stupid to make every single device that they release in terms of iPhones starting at £999. I think that's a bit ridiculous. Now moving on to the final 5 predictions. And for me, this is what's going to happen on all of the devices: the iPhone 8, the iPhone 8 Plus, and the iPhone 8X. I believe this is going to happen with all of the devices. I think it's going to be a blanket sort of improvements, and for some people, not improvements at all, and downgrade from the iPhone 7 or 6S. So we got the 4K 4K FaceTime camera. I think this is going to happen. I think whether it's required or not is debatable. However, the 4K FaceTime camera, I think, is it going to be really necessary? I mean, people take selfies, so 4K selfies could be coming to all of the new iPhone 8, 8 Pluses, and 8X. I think that will definitely come into the new phones. A 4K FaceTime camera, whether that would be recording in 60 FPS, I highly doubt it. It'll probably be 24 to 30 FPS for that camera. Next one is no headphone jack. This is a given. I don't think they're going to go back on what they said about the iPhone 7. They need to move ahead. I don't think they're going to go back on that. I think they're going to go no headphone jack for the rest of the rest of the time that the iPhone is around, and I think the rest of the industry will catch up very, very shortly. Next one is all phones will have 2 cameras. Now this is a bit of an interesting one, because I felt a bit strange when I was writing this, because I didn't really think that you'd get 2 cameras on an iPhone 8, but you never know. I mean, it'll definitely be on the 8 Plus. They're not going to put 1 camera on there now because they got the 8X. I think they might just put it on the 8 as well. Those 2 cameras, those 2 vertical cameras in the vertical alignment, I think it could happen on the 8 and 8 Plus as well, and obviously on the 8X. I think they'll all have the same camera module. However, I don't think the 8 and 8 Pluses will be able to do the 4K 60 FPS. And the 8X might have a slightly better megapixel, but it's going to be the same sort of design, I think, for both of the types of phones, the 8 Plus and the 8X. Another one is the iPhones are going to be a little bit thicker. Now, it's not something that I'd imagine you would notice if you just held the device on its own. If you were to compare, it would be millimeters thicker than the iPhone 7, and that's purely because there's new technology going in there. It's not something they've done before. They will refine it, they will make it thinner as you do, but if they want to have this new technology, the new OLED display, the new curved display, the new fast charging, the wireless charging, facial recognition, all of that is things that take space in the device, and without the space you can't have them. So I think they're going to compensate a little bit for that. It's not going to be much. It's not going to be like, you know, you're going to be holding a brick. It is going to be millimeters, and it's not going to make that much of a difference. It's going to help us on battery life. It's going to help us on features. I don't think it's a bad thing. I've never thought, oh, my phone needs to be a bit thinner, because it's already thin. The iPhone 7 is thin. The iPhone 8 will be still thin for a phone, but it won't be as thin as the iPhone 7, because the iPhone 7 wasn't that big of a jump in the in the iPhone lineup. I think it was mainly just to get one out whilst we're working on the iPhone 8 and 8X. So finally, the waterproofing, I think, will be improved across the board. I don't think they're going to make one device better underwater than others. They might make the 8X go under further, but I don't think that's a likelihood. I think it's going to be able to go down further and be in there for a lot longer. So that could be good if you do take your iPhone in the shower, or swimming, if you take your iPhone swimming. So yes, that is going to be the new waterproofing for the iPhone 8. Now that is it, guys. That is my predictions for the iPhone 8, 8X and 8 Plus. If you disagree with me or agree with me in any of these predictions, then be sure to leave the comment down below. I mean, you've got about an hour as this video goes up, probably even less. It might go up just before the start of the event, obviously at 6 o'clock. So it might take a while for you guys to obviously see this video. So if you're watching it after the iPhone 8 has come out, then still take note of my predictions and see how many of them I got right and how many of them were absolutely ridiculous. Because I think when I said 4K screen on the 8X, I think I was sounding a bit mad, because I don't think it's going to happen. But I'm going to make a roundup video again after this event, and just to show you guys what I got right and what I got wrong. So there we go, guys. That is my iPhone 8 predictions video. Hopefully you all enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like, rating, subscribe if you're new to the channel and you want to see more Apple related videos, and obviously tech videos and gaming. New video coming tomorrow. So there we go. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Once again, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.